Gang, we're all here. We'll also have Travis Berardi, who's going to video chat in with us over at Colonel and Crawford's practice. Going to catch up with Jake Bruner. So the whole gang's here, and we got a lot to talk about. And we're going to stick with our same new format that we like. We just all kind of get 5 minutes to pick and choose what it is that we feel like you guys need to know about. And I guess if you want to start, I kind of introduced you, but if you want to tell the folks at home something that they should probably know about you, G, and then we'll go around the circle.
Oh, man, I feel like I run out of ideas every time this question's posed to me.
Something. Gotta dig deep on this one.
Your team plays tonight.
Yeah, Vikings play tonight. I want to save my secret for later in the show, but I'm Garrett. If you don't know, G-Man, whatever I go by on this show. But yeah, I'll save the secret for later. It's a good one.
I'm Storm, and my best friend's team plays tonight on Thursday night. But
Vikes.
Yeah, other than that,
Lions won.
Oh yeah,
come on,
That's the only one who
Lions
won.
beat the Commanders, so we're 1-1 now. So that's pretty awesome.
My team did not win. I guess it's nothing new. I'm a Steelers fan, so what's something more original? I can't eat wheat. I like to wear long sleeves, even when it's warm. That's it.
Yeah. I've been on video for my whole life. You probably know a lot about me. If you couldn't tell, I'm always really shiny. I sweat pretty profusely most of the day, pretty consistently.
Yeah.
And that's about all there is to know. Well, some guys that sweat and also have some blood and some tears out there on the field definitely made some big plays this last week from week 5 of the high school football season. So what we always do, our cameras capture a whole bunch of awesome performances. We let you know who they are and what they did, and then you tell us what was the best of the best. So without any further ado, let's get to the Friday Night Phenoms presented by Adina Core for week 5 of the high school football season.
The top individual performances of the week presented by Adina Corporation. It's your Friday Night Phenom Countdown. Number 1 on this week's buffet of Phenoms is Clear Fork Colt Luke Schlosser, whose performance against Galleon on Friday set a tone that the Colts simply weren't playing pony ball on this night. 2 early touchdowns for the running back was only complemented by his 10 carries at 109 yards, and yes, that's an average of 10.1 yards per carry, ladies and gents. The Colts would end up defending the Colt Corral 37-10. It was a total team effort, but give it up for this stud, Luke Schlosser. Our next nominee is Colonel Crawford's Matt Clenard, whose running style will wear out any defense who stands in his way. Patience, persistence, and power are just a few of the words that can describe this Eagles gameplay, as the senior ran for 100 yards on just 15 carries and found his way into the end zone twice, as the Eagles would cruise with ease to a 42-0 victory over Seneca East.
Clenard defines physicality. He's one of those old school running backs that just puts his head down, isn't looking to make a fancy juke here and there, just runs you over and finds his way into the end zone.
Nominee number 3 is Danville Blue Devil signal caller Walker Weckesser, who haunted Northmore, turning what looked like some sure losses into some big plays all night long as he tossed the potato for 170 yards and a score, while also weaving his way through traffic for another touchdown and leading Danville to a 32-7 win and a spot atop of the K-Mac standings.
Yeah, you can never be upset when you have a quarterback who can extend the play with his legs, and his wide receivers give him a couple of those passing yards too with some great moves after the catch. But Weckesser doing a lot for his team.
Welcome to the list for the first time this season, Mr. Weckesser. Caden Shadone makes the list again this week with another superhuman performance as the senior traffic director went flat out gorillas again, as I mentioned. This time going off for more than 500 total yards with 7 combined touchdowns. I mean, G-Man, this looks more like Madden than real life.
Shadone got snubbed last week. Vikes fans, get this guy the Phenom crown. Shadone is the best QB in the area, hands down. He does it night in and night out, putting up terrific numbers and doing it in style as the Vikings rolled over a solid Warrior squad. Get this man a Phenom crown.
No question, he does it by land, by sea, through the air, any which way. Shadone gets it done. Cracking our list for the first time this season is Shelby freshman quarterback Braden DeVito, who didn't look like a youngster in the Whippets' first win at the new stadium, tossing 3 touchdowns with no picks and a blowout win over Marion Harding. I mean, this 9th grader, He's got his team off to a 4-1 start. Pretty impressive, Hayden.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are paying too much attention to what they've been able to do this season. He's obviously not the biggest, obviously not the tallest, but he's been certainly getting the job done. The third-ranked passer in our area coming into this week and added almost 200 more yards onto his season total.
And did I mention he's a freshman? Throwing bombs like that this season. The versatility of the big fella lands Mogador's Mason Williams on our nominee list this week, creating offense in all sorts of different fashions with 2 rushing touchdowns, threw for a touchdown, and was the leading pass catcher on a squad that was able to knock off Lucas on the road. The future Ohio Bobcat is simply listed as an athlete on the roster, G-Man, and you can see why, the way that he's used in so many different ways.
I got to see this guy in person. He's a bona fide battering ram. He never loses a contact battle, and being able to be so versatile at so many positions is huge. Williams is the real deal, and he carried his Cats to a win at Bob Wine Field.
Coming in at number 7 is number 5 himself, Ashland's Luke Bryant, who pulled out the smoker and took out the whole colony of Jackets on homecoming night. Bryant went a very smooth 12 for 20 with 224 passing yards to go along with 4 touchdowns on the night, showing out in a huge homecoming win for the Aerostorm.
Yeah, showing off the arm strength with a couple of long touchdown passes as well on homecoming night. No, that's not a typo. 4 pass touchdowns. This guy has been doing it. This is his 2nd week in a row on the Phenom voting, so hopefully the Ashland fans will get him a win.
There he is going deep once again, getting his team into the end zone as he gets onto our list. Those are your Week 5 nominees for Friday Night Phenom. Make your voice heard by sliding a vote into the comment section below.
And don't forget to get in your double votes right here and now. It's only when we're live and free during the podcast, so let us know. Like, well, what was the best? I think we all kind of discussed that we think that we're going to get in a vote this week.
Yeah.
Find out. All right, guys, let's take a look now at the best of the best plays that we captured from week number 5.
Off to the races he goes. The top speed for a Tiger, about 40 mphs versus 55 for a horse. Yes, we checked. And Shifley gets taken down before he can cross the finish line, but what a heck of a grab and go right here for the junior on the road. Take you inside the castle now at number 2, where Danville quarterback Walker Weckesser is going to roll out on this 4th and long. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, but at the last possible second, he's going to heave it to a wide open Aiden Burke for the 40-yard touchdown. Walker's scramble ability, like a sous chef making omelets, gives his receiver enough time to find the open space for the score.
Able to use his legs to escape the pocket and drops a money ball right into the bucket. The Blue Devils are for real this year, and a big reason is that it's going to Walker Weckesser down there at Northmore.
Next up at nominee number 3 is Colonel Crawford's Trevor Vogt, who scorched the Seneca East defense along his flight path into the end zone. This Eagle showed just how high and fast he can fly on the receiving end of this 32-yard touchdown pass. It's a strike via quarterback Cameron Lohr as CC cruised to a 42-zip victory.
Yeah, the junior is a speedster for Colonel Crawford this season. Big part of why they've been able to air it out and do what they've done offensively to a lot of opponents this season.
It's a tricky pack of Wildcats in Cubs country at number 4, and it's a double reverse that's going to end with Mason Williams. Yeah, that's the tight end tossing a 2-yard touchdown to Nick Stevenson, who had to go low for the snag. This was huge, too. Mogador scoring with just 5 seconds left in the half to take the lead.
Mason Williams can do it all. Did they get a hold of Doug Peterson's playbook from the Super Bowl against the Patriots for the Eagles? A little Philly action here, and what can Williams not do? Decent throw from a guy just listed as an athlete.
Coming in at number 5 is Ashland homecoming royalty. That's right, it's Mr. Football, a.k.a. Caden Van Tilburg, who's going to disrupt an angry pack of Yellow Jackets who were in scoring range, but instead he's going to flip the script. 99-yard touchdown return off this interception at the goal line. What an amazing run by the guy named Mr. Football by his classmates on homecoming night.
Yeah, no better time to do this than on homecoming night, and normally I wouldn't recommend disturbing a hive of angry Yellow Jackets, but hey, it worked out for him. Great speed, just goes, pick 6 all the way to the end zone.
One of 2 long interception returns for the Arrows on this night, but Van Tilburg makes the top play nominee list. Make sure that you vote now by commenting for your favorite play below and determine who made the top play from Week 5 of the high school football season.
And remember, get those double votes in while you can right now, live and free on the podcast. All right.
Get that voting going crazy, man.
Yeah, baby. All right, G-Man, why don't you kick us off this week with what, I don't even know where you're going to go with this. I try to never dive in. I always want to be surprised. I know it's going to be Vikings somewhere at some point, but what else will you have? Go ahead.
All right, we'll start things off with my Friday night game that you were at too, Brian. We both were there covering that one. Lucas versus Mogador was a very fun matchup too. Teams you don't see go at it a lot, and we've seen tremendous plays from Mason Williams and then the entire Lucas backfield by committee. I mean, Fenella was back there doing damage as well as Tom. You see him get in the end zone there, but just a phenomenal matchup. And I think my biggest takeaway was that Lucas should have won that game. And I think if they don't shoot themselves in the foot 2-3 times, they fumbled the ball about 3 times in the fourth quarter, and they had 3 chances to go down and take the lead and then win that game. I think that they should have won that game, and I think if for some reason, I don't know why everything got so damp, but everything by the time we were done too, like our table that we were at, we had some water on it, some precipitation, some condensation, some would say, but yeah, I don't understand really what happened there, but it was a big thing in the ball game because both teams, even Magro, they coughed it up a couple times too, and Lucas just they couldn't keep a grip on that puppy, and that's why they're going to go against Crestview, a team now that's undefeated. Another tall task here for the Cubs, but I think my big takeaway is I think Lucas could go in and beat Crestview, and I think that Crestview's going to have to come prepared, and I know they lost a couple key guys too, so they're not going to be able to sleep on this Lucas team. I know that you don't see Lucas with 2 losses very often, in a season, but this team can do some damage, and I think that they escaped. Mogador did with a win, but they really should have lost that game. And for Crestview, they got to come prepared against a very tough Lucas squad. So I expect that to be the game of the week, and I expect it to go, wire to wire. But we'll see if Crestview can stay undefeated or if Lucas is going to upset them. Move on to my my next topic. My next big thing that I got to do this week was make some tremendous buffalo chicken dip, which
Yummy.
I think the secret was that I've actually never made buffalo chicken dip. In the video, I kind of made it seem like I was
An expert
chef, but I've actually never made it. So I was a lot of guessing, but I mean, it was fantastic. Like I was actually I'm not even sugarcoating to act like I'm cool or something, but even at Storm, it was really good. I was kind of surprised by the final product that it tasted so well, and I don't.
How much of that have you put down at this
gone.
point? All of it.
It's gone.
Wow.
Yeah, me and Storm had some good helpings, and then my dad got some as well, obviously. And then I forget what night it was. I think it might have been Thursday night, the night after we filmed this, that there was the Chargers and Chiefs were playing. And
It was gone
what's
after
more
that.
iconic than buffalo dip in football? So, I mean, I had to get it out, had to warm it up, and I put it down. I mean, it was great. I was kind of surprised. So that's how I spent my Wednesday night, making some really good buffalo chicken dip.
Chef Boyardee.
And then my last one here, boys. I don't know if I got 2 big AFC North fans in the building. And I really didn't want to, gripe on this one, but I know you guys are fans, so I thought it was a great question to pose. I'll go last. I'll let you guys go first. From everyone in the AFC North, you guys all lost yesterday. Steelers, Browns, Bengals also lost, and so did the Ravens to Miami. Which team are you hitting the panic button on here early in the season, just 2 weeks in? I'll let you go first, Aiden.
Ooh, okay, put me on the spot. I don't want to say the Steelers, not because they're my team, but I think that based off some of these teams, the expectations for us is the lowest. I think that a lot of people see us as possibly finishing last, and I'm not going to say that we're, in my eyes, a top finisher in the division, but I think our expectations are the lowest. I think the most shocking loss yesterday, sorry, Brian, was the Browns and how it happened.
Oh, that was stunning for you?
Yes.
I didn't notice.
And then finally, to answer your question, I want to say maybe I'm hitting a panic button on Cincinnati, actually. Simply because, not just because Burrows looked bad, but they put together an offensive line that they thought would help him. And right now it's resulted in 2 losses, and it doesn't look like he's having a lot of time, anything improved from last season. So I think I'm hitting it on Cincinnati.
Ding, ding, ding. I'm definitely going with the Bengals. They have not looked good through 2 weeks. Joe Burrow looks flustered. I heard his post-game press conference. He did not sound like a confident quarterback that's looking forward to week 3. He sounds like a guy who's running for his life in the backfield that wishes he could get some more help. The Steelers probably do have the worst roster. They would be right behind them after the Bengals hit it. I'd probably be a Steelers fan trying to hit it. But the Browns, guess what? Our hands coming right on top of theirs. The Ravens is the only team in the division that I actually really think will end up having a quality season that you can at least project at this point. Can't believe what happened to the Browns, but definitely the Bengals had the worst loss and probably have the worst team.
Yeah, the only reason I wouldn't hit it on the Steelers is because of Mike Tomlin. That would be my only reason. But my answer is also Cincinnati. But I'll just play devil's advocate here about the Browns, Brian. Do you think that is? What do you think? Is it a coaching thing? Is it a DC's thing? I saw a lot about Joe Woods. He needs to be fired. Mike Prefer needs to be fired. Special teams coach. Is there a guy that you're pointing the loss to, or just kind of just a collective group as the Browns?
I don't think that a coach can tell you to just let some guy run behind you 20 yards wide open at the end of the game when you're supposed to be trying to go and prevent defense. So I don't think you can put that on Joe Woods. How about our defensive backs or our safeties having an understanding of what's going on out there? I think that there's nobody necessarily to blame. We executed the game plan really well. It went great for about 58 of the minutes. So as a Browns fan, I was pretty happy with the product, except for it just feels like there's some type of a curse or a voodoo doll that's in that stadium. Stuff like that seems to happen way too often to the Browns and only the Browns. They said the last time something like that happened in an NFL game was at Cleveland Browns Stadium, and the Browns blowing it against the Bears. So I don't really have an explanation. They did everything that I wanted them to yesterday, except for win the football game, and that's why I'm slightly depressed today. But I'm faking the smile.
So that's it for me. No Vikings actually.
Whoa.
No Vikings. I mean, no Vikings. They played tonight, so tune in. But other than that, no clips are done for me. So that's it for my 5 minutes.
Good question, G-Man.
All right. Well, now I think that we're gonna head off to North Robinson. Got Travis Brody. He's hanging out with Jake Bruner, the new head coach of the Eagles, and they're off to a great start, of course. 5-0. They've had 2 awesome seasons consecutively. How would they do with the new coaching staff? Well, really good. So we'll throw it out to you, Trav, man, and let us know what's going on with Coach.
Restock the bench, but just retool.
I think it's a testament to our kids and our leadership of our senior class. They've done a great job in working and, trying to live up to the expectations that was set here before. And, a lot of those kids, and not all of them were back. Obviously, we lost a lot of players the last 2 years, but a lot of them were role players on special teams and those things too. So they got a great opportunity to do that, and they've seen for firsthand how to motivate and how to work hard, and they've just tried to continue that process.
Yeah, over the off season, really horrible thing that happened with Coach Tegg passing away, but it seemed like the community and the team, they just rallied around each other to succeed this year for him.
Absolutely. I mean, Coach Tegg was number one, amazing human being, obviously a great football coach, and he did a lot for our community. He's one of my friends, and it's an unbelievable thing that happened. But at the same time, I'll say this: our community and our team has kind of rallied around that cry, and that's a big part of what we're doing and why we're doing it. So we talk about that almost daily, and that's kind of our motivation.
5-0. I mean, you always want to be peaking at the end of the year, but it seems like you guys are rolling towards that right now. What's been working for you guys, and what do you need to work on for the rest of the year?
We got a lot to work on still. I mean, we're doing a lot of good things, and we're playing really hard, but we got to get it to the next level. And we got to shore up some special teams. We got to fix some blocking assignments. We got to do some some better things on defense. But we're coming along, and our guys are working hard, and they're hungry.
Friday night, one of the biggest games in the area, taking on Cary, the defending state champions, 20 wins in a row. You guys gave them quite the test last year. They were able to pull it off in the second half. But what do you guys need to do this Friday night right here on this turf to maybe pull off the victory and take, front row in the Northern 10 standings?
Well, first of all, Cary's a great program. They're well coached. They got great players. There's a reason they were state champs last year, and there's a reason that they have a program like they do. We're going to have to play extremely well, and our guys know that. We're excited for the opportunity, and we just got to do what we do. They're going to do what they do, and we're going to do what we do, and we'll see who comes out on top.
And lastly, for some of our viewers that really don't know what Colonel Crawford football is all about, haven't seen you guys before, just let them know, what is Colonel Crawford football?
Well, I hope we're a program that does it right. We strive ourselves on hard work and next man up, and we got a lot of kids out. We play hard, and hopefully we show that on Friday night.
All right, Coach Bruner, I appreciate
Thank
the
you.
time, and back to you, Brian.
All right, thank you, Big League, and shout out to Jake for giving us the time. And man, it's just so cool to see the Eagles program continuing to flourish. They had such a beloved coach out there with Coach Teg, and the way that he's just gone all of a sudden. I think that it took the community really. I don't think they knew what to think because it just kind of happened so fast. And for Jake to step out of his role as principal and take over as AD and head football coach, I think it's amazing what he's been able to do so far. And I low-key think they got a pretty good shot when they're going against Cary coming up here on Friday. So the Blue Devils got the second longest win streak in the state. It'd be kind of a really cool story, I think, if Colonel Crawford could pull it off. All right, speaking of stories, I like hearing Storm Blunchley stories. So let's go ahead and turn it over to you, Bunchy, and see what you got for us this week.
Yeah, my camera equipment invest of the week this week was a car mount for my Insta360 camera. So that was a lot of fun to mess around with.
Hey.
You can mount it anywhere, get some really cool shots, see my little Among Us and my Squishmallow I got hanging out, mount it outside the car, see the outside of the Impala.
Yeah.
Mount it to the front. Got that flow state stabilization, my little Among Us. But yeah, so I've been really messing around with that a lot. It's been a lot of fun, man, honestly. It's very nerve-wracking to fly down 30 at 60 miles an hour with a $500 camera hanging off your car, but it's fun, and it's been a good way to have fun but still feel productive. So that's kind of what I did on Monday and Tuesday. Soccer, I was at Ontario versus Ashland on Thursday. At Ontario was my first time there this year, and man, I love the Ontario soccer complex so much. I love the whole campus of Ontario. It's just beautiful. It's so fun to be at and spend time with. And Ontario, man, they almost came back and won. Ashland took a quick 2-0 lead in the early stage of the first half, and then everything kind of went quiet there for a little bit. And then in the second half, Ashland put on a couple more goals. But Ontario, man, they had a couple of goals and made it interesting. But in the end, Ashland, they came out with the big W. So that's how I spent Thursday. Friday night football, I got the pleasure of spending some time with Hayden Gray out at Seneca East. Unfortunately, it wasn't live, but I did get to eat a snow cone, which with a lot of blue raspberry filling. I hate how they let me put my own topping on there because I put way too much and then I felt sick. But I had no cash, so it was the only way I could ingest some water was to eat shaved ice. So I felt really sick afterwards, but it was kind of worth it. They had bratwurst half off in the second half, but like I said, I didn't have
out of cash.
I didn't have any cash. I actually had $1, and I asked Hayden for $1, and he gave it to me because he's a great friend. And I expected water to be $2 because that's about what it costs everywhere else. Right. It's $1. So if you're looking for a place to get water, Seneca East has snow cones and water for $1. So
just don't overdo it on the raspberry
sauce. Don't overdo it on the raspberry filling because you'll feel sick like I did. But it was a lot of fun, and that snow cone was delicious. So that was kind of my week. That's my 5 minutes.
How about the weekend, Storm? Did you? How dedicated of a Lions fan are you on Sundays? Are you a nervous wreck like the rest of us?
No, I at a certain point in a Lions fan's career, you're just like, whatever happens, it happens. So I wouldn't say I'm as dedicated as a Lions fan as I am a Pistons fan, but it's fun to tune in and check out and watch their highlights. So
Lions got the Vikings next week.
I know.
So,
and you're gonna be really mad when we beat you.
I'm not gonna be mad at all. I'm not worried about Jared.
Is that a 1
Goff.
p.m. kickoff on Sunday?
Oh yeah, oh
I'm
yeah.
sure it
The
is.
Lions
Sure
play.
they're not, it's not getting much prime time.
I'm thinking what we're going to have to do, if you guys are up for it, maybe we'll have you down here at the studio. We'll put up a little camera. No audio, that way nobody really knows what's going
Storm's
on.
not even going to watch. It's just going to be me. It's going to be on his phone.
Sitting on the couch. Oh yeah. I mean, it's fun. I'm glad we won, beat the Commanders, but I don't know if that's really saying much.
Yeah, I saw you were a favorite in Vegas actually yesterday.
Really? We just have to. It's hard to get excited when Jared Goff's your quarterback at this point. He's like a Band-Aid, so once we rip that Band-Aid off, we'll be in a lot lot better position, I think.
Hopefully Jared's not watching and takes that to heart. I thought he
hope
played
not.
pretty
Yeah,
well.
if people rip Jared.
He's
But,
seen it.
Yeah, he ain't
Yeah.
worried about this. Nothing compared to what he gets.
All right, well, there's Storm Blunchley sounding off. Who knows what Jared actually thinks, but we talked to a lot of you out there in the athletic community this past week, and it's my new favorite segment that we have on the OH Report. Let's go ahead and take you into the talk of the town.
Freshman debut tonight against the crosstown rival, state-ranked, 2 opponents. Great game tonight. What was your mindset before the kickoff, before the game started? Kind of what was going through your head?
There was a lot of nerves. There was a lot of just pressure, and I know that Clear Fork is a great team, and just to come out and play our best and to just try and pull out the win, and we did, so that is very good.
Absolutely.
Last 2 games, our offense has been looking hot, and we don't look nothing of it in practice. Keep getting better every day, so just coming out and working to get working harder and harder every day, just to go out there and put more points up than let. So,
talk about your defense's performance tonight.
Defense did a heck of a job. I was talking to my coach on the sidelines and came to my realization that I was like, we've been on defense more than we have offense, which is like kind of strange to me. But yeah, our defense did a heck of a job. I mean, three picks, 2 of them for 96 yards, touchdowns, 1 almost a touchdown. So yeah, defense definitely stepped it up this game. Played a heck of a game, only gave up 7 points. So kudos to them.
What are you guys looking forward to in that matchup, and what are you looking to prove against Cary, who still gets to at least carry that title with them? But what kind of chip do you have on your shoulder going up against them this Friday?
You know, we go into the game, we're not doing anything different. We just, same thing every week. We focus on the task at hand. We don't change what we do, same routine. We just know that they're going to be a good team, and we have to play good. We just do the same thing, just game in and game out, next game up.
We just came together as a team and decided that we were going to play Fredericktown volleyball and communicate and get stuff done.
We just got to focus on moving the ball more, talking more, and just shooting.
It's quite a hike here for you all the way down in Ashland. How are you able to keep your composure and your cool here coming all the way down here?
Normally just on the bus, I try and stay locked in, listening to music, trying to calm the nerves. And then when I get here, I just start visualizing the game and getting myself ready to play.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're getting better every day. We're a really young team, so we try to get better every day. I think we're improving a lot throughout the season, and we're not really where we want to be yet. So obviously when October comes, that's when we want to peak, and when we face Clear Fork again in Lexington, that's where we want to be our best.
Yeah, it took us a little while because we were new. We have a new coach and a few younger kids coming up to play with us, so it took us a little while to finally get it to all click together. But once we did it, it's feeling really good now.
Well, a hard week of practice, coming out every day, practicing like we want to play, like we want to win, going hard every snap, and then if adversity strikes during the game, regroup and come back the next play. We're looking to win the K-MAC and show everybody that Danville football is back.
So for you as a freshman making an impact, you're the only one on the varsity roster here for Lucas. Talk to me about your ascension and getting up to this level and being able to not just play, but be a big-time performer.
It took some really hard work over these past couple years. I've been playing club ball, and that's really helped me improve a lot.
I feel like our defense is probably our biggest, that's what we rely on the most. Anytime I'm in the back row with Lily, she's like the greatest libero. I can tell her, okay, this is my seam, but I'm not really gonna get it, so you can help me out. And she's like, yeah, I got you every single time. She's like the greatest libero to play with. It's amazing. I'm so proud of our freshmen and sophomores. Everybody who's stepping up that wasn't playing varsity time last year, who was playing but not as much, they're doing amazing, and I'm just so happy.
Talk about the game that your offensive line had. I mean, you talk about them opening holes for you. They seem to do a pretty good job of not only opening holes but also pass protection as well.
I mean, all those guys have played 2-3 years up there. They all know their assignments every day at practice. They're just communicating. They do it in the game. They're all big, strong, smart, and I think that's going to be a big help to us all year long.
You want to give a shout out to anyone?
Shout out to my O-line. Shout out to my running back, Skyler. And shout out to Ramsey for making those great plays.
And how about a shout out to all those athletes for talking to us after the games? It's a tough spot to be in when you're just like 15, 16, 14. Like you see Braden there, the little freshman. And I think they're doing a pretty good job. So I enjoy that segment quite a bit. I also enjoy Hayden Gray's take and perspective on some things. So the next 5 minutes are all yours, sir.
Okay. Well, I'll kind of break down my week at the OH.Report similar to most of us do. And while I was at more things than just volleyball, both of these teams, super impressive. The KMAC's actually pretty loaded in terms of talent because Cardington in first place and then Northmore in fourth place currently, another team you'll see tonight on the OH.Report doing great things. So I'm really intrigued. This is actually one of my favorite things that I've been following this year is KMAC volleyball. This one actually went 4 sets. Centerburg looked like they were going to take control of the night, winning the first 2. And this was my first 4-set match of the year. Fredericktown gave it their best shot, but ultimately couldn't get it done. And then Saturday morning, a rematch of last year's district championship, Buckeye Central and Monroeville. Travis and I were looking forward to this one all week long. And 2 teams that are just so well coached and have a lot of respect for each other in those programs. It was one of those where Monroeville ultimately got the 3-0 sweep, but it was the hardest earned sweep you're going to see. Buckeye Central pushed them every set. And Maddie Daniel, honorable mention, All-Ohio last year, had just another killer performance. She's really been doing a lot for them this year. But they've got a lot of youth that have stepped up in the ranks, too. Some freshmen coming up to do big things. And they did a really cool thing. It was 1 year to the date that they lost their teammate. So they got a big victory for her, and it was really cool. They do a nice job. And really liked the angle that we actually got there. It was kind of fun to do a corner angle on that game. See a cool overview like that. So get to go see a lot more volleyball this week. I think 3 more matches that I'll take in, so excited to keep that going. And then my other thing this week, I know the last couple weeks I've been kind of doing something where it's going to be a question or an interactive game. I actually just have one kind of bulk question that I'll have everyone give their opinion on. And it's actually something that I saw another podcast talking about, and it was an idea about fantasy football. And most of us, I think, I know, like Storm, you've talked about it not being your top thing, but I know you do participate. But some people, they lose interest in it sometimes because they don't want to hear about your friend and how good their team's doing. Sometimes, you don't want to hear about that. And so
I'll second that.
Yeah, you can lose some of the morale and the drive. So someone had an idea, and I know some people already do it. It's not brand new, but a league where if you could get enough people, maybe even just like an 8-team league, and each team had 3 owners. So there's going to be a decision-making where you actually have to talk to someone and make decisions, but it might make it a little bit more interesting. Your draft, who you're going to set as your starting lineup. And then my favorite was it said, imagine watching Red Zone on Sunday with your fellow owners and just either basking in that glory or in that defeat. So real quick, I just want to know if anyone, what are your thoughts about a league like that, and would you ever try it?
More fantasy football, more fun.
Yeah.
So, if anybody wants to be in a league of that, I'll hop in. I'll do any leagues, so it doesn't really bother me. There's no limit to mine, so I think it would be cool to have to be like an actual franchise type thing. Where you have to come together in the draft war room and then go to the podium and pick somebody. So yeah, I think it would be cool. I'd be down to give it a try.
I think it would be fun, mainly because I wouldn't have to think or do anything pretty much. It'd probably
be the cheerleader,
It'd probably just be Garrett picking, and then I would just be like, okay, yeah, whatever, that's fine with me. So I think it would be fun.
Yeah, I think I'd want Storm on my team just because of exactly that, just agreeable. Sure, he sounds like a good player. I just hope they all have fun on Sunday. That's all that really matters to me. At least for me, I kind of like being in control of my fantasy team. And now that I've been doing it, I'm an OG. I was doing fantasy before they had these fancy apps or anything. We used to have to go in back rooms, on a chalkboard and write down. And we had to do some real research. The internet was just barely evolving in terms of the information that you had. It would be cool, but I'm just a one league kind of guy now because I don't like rooting for one guy in one league and then against somebody else in another one. And if it was all kind of a collective thing, I just don't know. But if it was the only league that I was doing, I think my thought would be, okay.
It's what they thought. It might be interesting to see what kind of hierarchies develop within your team. So if there was a team like the 3, G-Man's probably going to rise to the top of that ladder as general manager pretty quick. But, yeah, just food for thought.
Yeah, our OH.Report NFL insider over here, G-Man, always with the scoop.
I would trust him, yeah.
All right, guys, I'll go last here. And I'm going to start my 5 minutes, of course, with the win that got away yesterday and the loss that could not have been more Browns. Everything that could go wrong did in a finish that, like I said, it featured this, a missed PAT, the first missed kick of Cade York's young career. I saw lots of Cade York jerseys in the stadium yesterday. I thought that was cool. Kickers are not very well represented. It made me less sad that at least a Buckeye, Garrett Wilson, was the one who torched us at the end and got the game-winning touchdown, and he had a couple of big plays. But after the botched onside kick and the fact that we had the blown coverage and everything, the way that it went down, Browns fans walked out, and I was trying to explain to G-Man about just the mood and the scene, and I've not been a part of anything quite like it. I've been to about 50-50 wins and losses at Browns games, and there have been some tough ones, like the Monday night game a couple of years ago with Lamar Jackson and what he was able to do to come from behind and win after he was out for a while.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
But this was the most stunned that I've ever seen a collective group of like 60,000 people that we didn't know what to say, we didn't know how to act. I saw people just aimlessly walking down the sidewalks, and for Jets fans, it was the complete opposite. Wow, what a feeling that must have been to sneak that one out when it looked like they were dead in the water. So I guess I just want to know from you guys, after so much confusion on our end, I can't disassociate myself from the fact that I'm a Browns fan. Who should I be most disappointed with after that loss? Should it be the kicker? Should it be the quarterback for throwing the interception when we already had our kicker in range to kick a shorter field goal for the win than we had a week ago? Is it Nick Chubb for not just staying in bounds? Is it Kareem Hunt for going out of bounds when all we had to do was stay in bounds? Is it our coaching staff? Is it Amari Cooper for not just knocking the ball out of bounds on the onside kick? G-Man, who deserves the blame? Who should I actually be mad at?
Well, I think it's a collective group. I think everybody deserves a piece of the pie because for play calling, I mean, you could go in the sense of if we're in range and we know that this Cade York guy, he's been everybody's been hyping him up, even as not even a Browns fan. I've heard about this guy just from training camp stories and preseason that he's got a leg. You're in field goal range. I mean, I get trying to do it, but try to force the ball downfield with the QB that Jacoby Brissett that seems as if he's going to be a game manager. You guys can run the ball pretty easily. I mean, why not give the Chubb call a timeout? Did you guys have any timeouts left?
Yes, we did.
Could've
No, not at that
you
point.
did not?
No,
Okay.
we were out there.
But, I mean, even still, I think play calling is a little bit of the blame, and I think a lot of it goes on the players. And that's why I was a little hesitant, and I don't know if I liked the comments Myles Garrett had about them getting booed. I mean, you guys are up 13 points with a minute left. I think you deserve to get booed after losing that one. And it was on his defense. It'd be different if he, wasn't really involved, but he's one of the main players on the Browns, and the pass rush wasn't getting there to Joe Flacco, who is a statue back there. So I think a collective group. I think everybody deserves a piece of the blame, and I don't know how the Browns recover from this. It's just shocking. I'm sure they'll be fine and they'll get some more wins, but this one's going to take a bit, like a while to get over, at least to my taste.
It's now 29 years and counting since the Browns were last 2-0. Can you believe that?
And the thing is, too, they needed these two wins because these are two gimme wins. They got the Panthers one. They got the Jets against Joe Flacco. If it was Zach Wilson, I could understand them losing. But against Joe Flacco, 37,
Grandpa Joe.
This is two free wins they could have had and would have jumpstart their season. It sucks.
He's an old man.
All right, let's just go ahead and move on, guys. Let's talk about another losing streak. Depending on which side you're on, it's either misery or success, and that being in volleyball. And I've got Lucas continuing their domination over Mansfield Christian in the regular season. The Cubs have now won 19 straight matches versus the Flames with a 4-set victory inside the Cub Cave. Obama was president the last time the MC got it done against Lucas, so I was wondering if you guys are aware of any notable streaks some teams that just own the other. I know Crestview until last year against St. Paul, they had about a decade-long losing streak. Anybody else that you guys can think of that just cannot seem to get it done against another team?
I guess the easiest answer I'd have was be earlier. The East Knox in their ability to get a win against any K-Mac team. They broke that.
Over.
Yeah, so it's done. We can go around the table and I'll try and think of another one.
Seneca East Volleyball hasn't beaten Buckeye. They
Yeah,
just
they
beat
hadn't
us.
beat Buckeye Central
So
since
some streaks
2018.
Yeah.
We covered that game earlier and they won.
And then they won in 5 sets.
Wow.
I don't know the exact number, but I think it's been like 30 years since Bucyrus footballs beat Winford. And they're legit separated by like 3 miles. That one's got to hurt.
They
if
played
you're a
this
Redmond
year?
guy.
Yeah.
That's,
Oh, yeah.
That's,
they played
worse,
that year.
that's even worse than Crestview St. Paul by landslide, too.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get an
And I thought
exact
that was
number on
bad.
that. But it's been a long, long time.
Yikes. I can't think of
the
any.
Lions
Cowboys
and
versus Tom
everyone.
Brady?
Cowboys never beat Brady.
Oh, Cowboys never beat them.
Vikings never beat Brady.
Oh, I did see yesterday was the first day since 2011 that the Jets, Lions, and it was one other team
Jags.
all won on the same day.
Well, how about Michigan, Ohio State? We were
Ah,
getting dominated before last year. Like, how many years in a row? It's been a while.
It was since Braxton Miller was there. I don't think
the
quarterback.
first year.
So I think we had a
Like 10?
10-year
10-ish.
reign.
Wow.
But yeah, I just thought that was pretty notable. Mansfield Christian actually made it a game. Lucas,
Yeah.
their coaching staff freaked out after they lost the second set. Yeah, shout out to Coach Sauter, and her kids picked it up after that.
Yeah,
So
Travis and I looked in at it. Surprised.
last week we had our debut episode of the Soccer Locker with Jesse Ryder, who ranks the top 5 boys and girls team in the area. So let's go ahead. We're going to start with the ladies here and just take a look at the top 5 that he's got. And I just want to see what your guys' thoughts are once number 1 is revealed, and you know who it's going to
Yeah,
be.
no
Come on.
question here,
Ontario
Jesse.
Lady
Thank
Warriors.
you.
Anybody missing from the list? Any maybe shakeup that you would like to see? And granted, this is 5 days old now.
I would say it should be 1 Ontario and then like 3 more. Like
Yeah,
everyone else.
empty
Like a big
spaces.
space,
Couple empty
and
spots.
Then Clear Fork and then rattle them off. I like his order. I haven't got to see Lonville, but I've seen Mansfield Christian, and I think they're a pretty solid squad. But I think the gap between Ontario and everybody else is pretty decent.
Now, Clear Fork played them really tough. We just had
Yeah.
that game live and free last week, but they can't make the big goals like how Ontario can. So there definitely is a sizable gap, and I think it's a surprising one to a lot of people in the area, including Ontario. I don't think that they figured that they were going to be as talented as they are, certainly the freshmen.
Yeah, I remember going out to their first match of the season when they dropped 13, and I remember Coach specifically in the post-game huddle saying, I wouldn't have expected to score that many tonight, but I think that their confidence has risen. I mean, I said a few weeks ago, I think I looked at you and I said, book them. I'd take them to win a state championship right now.
Wow. Whew.
But I'm no Jesse Ryder, so that might be it is, but
All right.
book it.
Let's see what Jesse had to say about the gentlemen now with his top 5 area teams. You can see on the girls, very dominated by Richland County. The boys, very OCC-centric with Worcester, Ashland, Lexington, and Madison all making the list.
I like Lexington. I seen them this year just once against Bay, but I like what they had, and I think they should have won that game. So I like Lexington there. I get to see Worcester this Saturday, so I know they come in rumored as the favorite. I'm excited for that matchup against Massillon Jackson too. So I don't see any shakeups. I like the list. I mean, I gotta trust Jesse too. I mean, his knowledge is much higher than mine on soccer. But I like Lexington being above Ontario.
Yeah, definitely not after the head-to-head. This
Yeah.
was the day before they actually played each other, and it was a close match storm that you've seen, but Ashland proved that they're better than the Warriors on the field.
I've seen Ashland beat both Madison and Ontario now, so Ashland's the real deal. They're and I don't think I don't know if a lot of people expected it. I definitely didn't expect it, but they really are. They're a very good club top to bottom for sure.
The only team missing that Jesse commented on, because I couldn't help but bring it up, because he's a former Mansfield Christian coach, and Mansfield Christian's off to like this great 8-2 start, and he conveniently left him off the list for a young team like Madison.
Wow,
Lexington's only about 500. Ontario too, floating around the 500 mark. So he defended it and just said, hey, tougher schedules, tougher opponents, that type of thing. So we'll see if the Flames are able to crack the list. Though I believe they actually lost last Saturday, so maybe they stay outside the top 5. Hey, Jesse knows a lot more about soccer than we can all collectively pretend to think of, and he'll be on a live stream with us tonight. Of course, we're going to be over at the Colt Corral for some more live and free girls soccer. And here is the full list of games that we have coming up for you guys. Rocky River is the opponent tonight for the Lady Colts. We've also got some volleyball going down at the Castle tonight. Hayden Gray, you get to see Colonel Crawford.
Yeah, I'm excited. This will be my first time seeing them, and I believe my 4th or 5th with Northmore. So, I mean, things can change any given night. I know about what you get with Northmore, but excited to see a non-conference matchup tonight.
Just tons of highlights, of course, on our soccer schedule. Any one stick out to you, G?
That Worcester one that I highlighted earlier. I'm excited to see Worcester. I don't think any of us have covered Worcester boys, at least so
we
far
haven't yet this year.
So that'll be our first one. I'm excited to see if they really are, number 1 in Jesse's soccer locker.
And then on the football schedule, I mean, we're really going in this week. We're going to have a lot of games for you guys, and we can even add a couple more on there. I think at least one more that we're going to try to have. So lots of highlights. I got a lot of requests for Willard.
Yeah.
And I know that we're going to try to see the flashes.
Go see our boy
I want to
Robinson.
see the flashes myself.
We all do.
I want to see what's going on with his offense. If it's like just something, bizarre, or maybe
He's about at 2,000 passing yards there, quarterback Robinson.
That's unheard
It's
of.
just silly.
How about Robinson, huh?
Hey.
I mean,
of course.
How you guys
Golly.
doing? Coming to you from the Castle now. Went from Crawford down to here. Hayden, I'm awaiting your arrival here in a little bit. But how about that quarterback from Willard? The kid's just putting up big numbers, almost to 1,000, almost to 2,000 already.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing the highlights, and they got a tough test in Huron, so I can't wait to see what this offense looks like. Heading into last week, they had the highest scoring offense in the entire state, regardless of division. So excited to see that. And then, of course, Kerry Crawford. I mean, that's the game in the area. But other than Lucas Crestview, I think it's kind of too bad that Lucas lost, because there would be a little bit more sexiness to that matchup had they didn't.
Yeah, I think it's.
Do they stay in the Country Roads rankings? We'll see.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
I am too. I can't with him.
All right, Trav.
I just had to come in and hijack this.
Yeah, surprise, right?
Yeah.
Trav's not even here, and he still hijacks the show. So Hayden's got to get down your way. We got to go get set up down at the corral. But last word to maybe Travis?
I'll see you soon.
No?
Bye, Travis. Have a good call, buddy.
Doesn't look like he's going to give one.
I don't know.
So my last word, just love. Love each other.
Go Vikings. Monday Night Football, baby.
Dun, 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 dun.